Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be making 3 super quick and easy Valentine's Day heart-shaped treats. This video is actually in collab with one of my favorite YouTubers. I've watched Moss Family TV probably for about 3 years, so I love participating in her group collabs that she does. She's going to post a playlist, I believe, on Thursday. As soon as that's up, I'll link it in the description box below as well. But today we are going to be making peanut butter cookies that are shaped like hearts. We are going to be making pink chocolate chip cookies that are shaped like hearts and are also freezer friendly. And then finally, I'm going to be taking crescent rolls and making them into pink hearts, which remind me of another classic bakery thing. I think they're called Palmer leaves, Palmer ears. I'll put a name below. But anyway, they look delicious. All 3 are super easy. You don't have to make the peanut butter and chocolate chip cookies from scratch like I'm going to do. You can use the cookie doughs that are in the refrigerated section. You can use the dry packet of cookie doughs. You can use whatever is your favorite cookie dough. It's more about the method for these two. So let's get started. So this recipe isn't necessarily about the peanut butter dough itself. It's about the shape. So you can use any peanut butter dough you want to use. I'll link the recipe below for the one I'm using. It's by Betty Crocker. I also did another video about this around Christmas time, and I'll link that one below. And I'm going to be using this PB Fit powder just because it's so much easier when baking, I think, to measure out powder than peanut butter, but you can absolutely use your own. So we're going to start with our sugars. Here's ½ a cup of white sugar, ½ a cup of packed brown sugar, ½ a cup of peanut butter or PB powder, ¼ cup of softened butter, ¼ cup of shortening. I'm just happen to be using the butter flavor, but you don't have to do that. 1 egg, and then we're just going to beat this to combine. And then I'm just going to mix in my leaveners before I add the flour. So it's ½ a teaspoon of baking powder, ¼ teaspoon of salt, and 3/4 baking soda. And it's 1 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay, so I had to do one for practice, and that, you know what, that's what it looks like. What you're gonna do is you're gonna get a ball of dough like that, and I used my cookie scoop to get a ball. And then you're gonna flatten it. Instead, to take a knife, but I'm just using the top of my fork here and kind of working the top to be the top of the heart, and then using your knife or your fork to kind of, you know, do the heart shape thing. And then I have a fork here, and you just went like boom and boom, and then you can kind of fuss with it as much as you want, but you get that classic peanut butter hatch mark. And then I'm just using, I have a little bowl of granulated sugar that I keep dipping my fork in just so it won't stick. So that's what I'm doing. Isn't that so sweet? And then these bake at 375 for 9 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna make a whole bunch more, so let me do that. So I'm going to start out by making my chocolate chip cookie recipe. Again, you do not have to make this from scratch if you want to skip that step and use pre-made cookie dough. But this is from the, I don't even know if they make this anymore, Wegmans Organic Chocolate Chips. It's the recipe on the back here. I'll type it out in the description box because I'm sure I won't be able to find this online. But this is my favorite chocolate chip cookie recipe. The Toll House was just doing me wrong one too many times, so I switched to this one 5 years ago. They come out great every single time. So we're gonna start by creaming our butter and sugar, and that is 2 sticks or 1 cup of butter. I actually am out of my baking sticks, so I'm using the Kerrygold, which we usually use just as like table butter, but okay. So 2 sticks of butter, ½ a cup of white sugar, and 1 cup of packed brown sugar. And a tip from somebody on Instagram told me is I'm actually gonna add my leaveners now because sometimes my leaveners are a little bit clumpy and this helps break it up. So that is 1 teaspoon baking powder. I'm sorry, 1 teaspoon baking soda, 1 teaspoon salt. Now I'm gonna add 2 eggs and beat after each one. So now you don't have to do this step, but I think it's gonna be super cute. I'm gonna add some pink food coloring. I don't know how much I'm gonna need. We're gonna start with that. Now this is part of the recipe. This is where I think it gets weird. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of just water and a teaspoon of vanilla. So now we're gonna add 1, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And I'm just gonna quickly mix that just till it's barely combined because I gotta add the chocolate chips too. I changed my mind. I think I'm actually gonna add, instead of regular chocolate chips, I'm gonna do the mini chips because I think they'll slice easier. So let's do that. And the recipe says 1 10-ounce bag of chocolate chips. So I'm just gonna add this whole thing. And now I'm gonna get an arm workout mixing this in. Okay, so now this is when we turn these into heart-shaped cookies. And this comes from a blog from the Miniature Mouse. Sorry, I got Paul here helping me. TheMiniatureMouse.com. I'll link this below, of course. So she says to get out a piece of parchment paper. I hope that's big enough. We shall find out. And to put your dough down the middle. I already feel like we'll just try it with some. I feel like I didn't get a big enough parchment piece, so. And then she says you're just gonna roll it up into a log shape. Like that. Relatively same size. And then she says you're gonna start working it into a triangle shape. I wonder if I should make this thinner. What do you think, Paul? Oh yeah? Just make sure I don't have my paper messing this up at all. Okay, so working into a triangle shape. Check. So that is in the triangle shape. Then I'm gonna use my bread knife here because she said with the back of a knife, you're gonna use that flat side. My dough is really, I hope this works okay. So on this flat part, hope you can see, flip it this way, I'll try to do it left-handed. You're gonna make an indent. So the sharp knife's going out this way, it's the dull side. Here is going in between, starting that heart dent. And I'm not trying to cut through the paper, I'm just trying to, I guess, kind of score the dough. And then she says you kind of use your fingers to make this part kind of rounded. And then gently flip it over and try to do the same thing to the other side. So now she said to freeze this for several hours, but I'm gonna slide it on this tray so I hopefully don't mess up the shape too much. I mean, it looks like a heart to me. So I'm gonna shove this in the freezer. And we'll be back with this one. So I was a scaredy cat and didn't want to do them all at the same time. So I still have some left. So I'm just going to scoop these little guys in balls, shove them in the freezer as well, and then put them in a Ziploc bag. And then whenever we want a couple cookies, I just pulse them out. Or Matt eats them raw out of the freezer, that too. So this next one could not be simpler. It is crescent rolls, red sugar, and some butter that I have melting on the stove right now. saying is I'm gonna make half of this recipe and the other half I'm gonna leave the crescent rolls as plain, and we're gonna have those for dinner just because we have so much sweet stuff going on. But this recipe is super cute. What you do is you are going to unroll this, and this I'm gonna save for dinner, so I'm gonna put this off to the side. So right here I have 2 rectangles, but you would want all 4. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pinch the seam on one. Let me just put this here for a sec. I mean, these are already pretty sealed. Okay, this is where it gets messy. So you can use red, you could probably use pink too. So I'm gonna put a lot down here. A lot. This is why I said I'm only gonna make this half of this, because I bet you Matt won't like this and it'll just be me eating it, and I don't need to eat 8 of these. So it said to press the bottom into the sugar. So do that. Do that to this guy. Make sure they're all kind of covered. I have no idea where my little basting brush is, so I'm just gonna use a little spoon to kind of spread on. For all 4, it's 1 tablespoon of melted butter, so this is just a half a tablespoon because I'm having everything. Okay. And then more sugar. And then pat that on a little bit. I'm actually going to smush these out so they're roughly the same size, because I'm going to put one on top of the other. Oh my god, Paul's toy. Okay, so we're going to put them on top of each other. So then what we're going to do is you're going to roll both of these sides till you meet in the middle, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to roll that one a little bit, and then roll this side. I'm just going to push them ever so slightly together. I feel like this is going to unroll, because then it said to place this in the fridge for 30 minutes. And if you can see, it's kind of heart-shaped-esque. We can finagle them more when they're sliced. I'm gonna put this whole mess in the fridge for 30 minutes and we'll be back. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked these recipes, and I hope you give one of them a try. If you do, let me know in the comments below or tag me on Instagram. We tried to wear the most Valentine's Day stuff we could. I whipped out my pink Carhartt, and he's got his little baby Yoda shirt on. Let me see if I can get it so you can see. Yeah, there you go. Can you say thanks for watching? We'll see you next time. Bye. You see, bye. Good job.